Another day in the BB23 house. All around, a much slower day. There's not really too much to update, so this might be one of my shorter videos, but we'll see if I end up rambling on like I can sometimes. We will begin talking about Sarah Beth. Yesterday, in the wee hours of the morning after I had already recorded yesterday's video, Sarah Beth was having a bit of a breakdown. She even quarreled with old Kyland because she's upset that him and others are telling her not to do so much with her campaigning, and that's making her paranoid. And I said 2 days ago that the one person that could get a flip this week and get Sarah Beth voted out is Sarah Beth. She just sucks at this game. Sarah Beth basically is showing that she's emotional. She's also playing up her emotions, and people already don't trust her. A lot already don't like her. So she just needs to listen to Kylan and really keep her mouth shut and don't do too much with her campaigning, because Christian's such a big target that he should be the easy one to vote out. But her being her and playing badly is just already starting to make players like Brittany a little paranoid. And we will touch upon Brittany a little more later because Christian's kind of getting Brittany to maybe flip. But there was another talk in the wee hours of the morning yesterday after I recorded between Hannah and Azza. It's good to see them actually talking game together. These two need to talk game a whole lot more. And it was interesting to see them talk and see just how loyal both are to the cookout. Honestly, even though Hannah was brought in so late to the cookout, I do continue to feel like Hannah is the most loyal person to the cookout, and I think Oz is the only one close behind her. I mean, they're all honestly loyal to the cookout. They're all playing their own games. The only one that's probably the least loyal is Tiffany because she's always fighting against wanting to go forward with this cookout plan, it seems like, but Hannah's going to be cutthroat. I keep seeing people online being like, oh my God, if a shot gets taken out of the cookout, Hannah and Tiffany are going to flip. Tiffany probably. Hannah, I'm telling you, is not going to do that. And I also see, I'm sorry, Hannah and Derek X fans, I see them saying, because today Hannah told Xavier that, she thinks Derek X needs to go sooner rather than later. And I believe Hannah. They can live in fantasy land that Hannah really wants to take Derek X to the end, but she's over that and she's totally committed to the cookout. And I think she's going to be a cutthroat player if and when she has to be in this game. Derek X did make a final two with Hannah a couple days ago, I think. And it seems like he actually wants to be loyal to it. Like, I feel like he's finally coming around to working more with Hannah, but he's 2 weeks late. He should have taken advantage of this 2 weeks ago when Hannah was not officially in on the cookout. I think it would have changed a lot for Derek X's game. Of course, he doesn't know about the cookout, but now it's a little too late, I think. Derek X is also getting info from Christian and Alyssa telling him that Kylan has said some negative things about Derek X and that Kylan thinks Derek X is sketchy, which of course in turn is making Derek X little sketch out about Kylan. I mean, Derek X just needs to realize that everybody's using him, Kylan being one of them. But this week has not been the best for Kylan. On a social level with his people, which is a lot of people, he is still good. He's definitely the one that I think has kept the cookout together best this week. Every week it seems to be someone new who is the glue to the cookout. I think Kylan, since he goes around keeping everybody in tune with what is actually going on, it helps him and it helps him within the cookout. But his target has definitely grown this week. And I feel like there's such a big possibility that it could be Kylan and Sarah Beth on the block next week, which would be, I'm not convinced Kylan stays in that scenario. Although Sarah Beth just, grows her target and says the wrong things a lot, so maybe not. But Kylan, since he is becoming a big target, he could be in danger sooner rather than later. I'm also finding it interesting within the cookout how much Xavier, Kylan, and Tiffany want to take out each other's number ones, number twos, whatever. They're all seem to be scheming against each other. Kylan's now focusing that maybe he needs to get Claire out, which is probably smart for him because Claire wants Kylan out sooner rather than later. Xavier really wants Derek X out soon, even though that's more so Hannah's number one, supposedly. And then Tiffany, of course, wants Sarah Beth out, even though I think she also just wants Kylan out, period. So that is an interesting way, those three at the top of the cookout, causing the most ruckus, really making, Ozzy and Derek F's job a whole lot easier. I mean, they don't play as hard as those three, but they're actually in a better spot right now because those three have, a little power hungry and don't trust each other. And then there's Hannah, who I think is just thriving the most out of probably anybody in the house. And speaking of Hannah, today she schooled Christian. Christian, during his pitch, was not doing good enough for Hannah. Hannah kept poking holes in his pitch and gave Christian homework to return to her tomorrow and answer 3 questions better. So Hannah getting Christian together. Hannah was just on one today in general. Hannah's always blunt, and I appreciate it. I really think Hannah has a really good shot in this game. Her big issue is probably if Alyssa wins the next HOH, or if there's truly a power, and then the fucking TV viewers, the TV only viewers, the casuals, vote Alyssa for the power because Alyssa's losing her showmans. I could definitely see that happening. But if Hannah and Derek X are on the block to more together this coming week, as much as Derek X thinks he would stay in that scenario, I don't think. Claire had a talk with the cameras a little, but it's still not impressing me enough, Claire. If you want, I need her to win an HOH. Do something. Just do something. I'm so bored of her. I don't like her fucking coaster, Tina BB Ken 9 strategy. It is not working for me at all anymore. I'm totally over it, like I said yesterday. Although I will say I'm still glad she was casted over that other girl who was not casted because of the COVID test, the positive COVID test, because that girl, what's her name? Like Stone Cold Steve Austin or something, Christy, I think, she's like trying to stay relevant by being on camera with fucking Frenchie and Brent. The problematic ones of the season. As the actual vote stands, Christian and Alyssa think that they're relying on Ozzy. They think Ozzy is a swing vote, even though in reality they don't have anybody except for Alyssa and Xavier to vote and to save Christian. However, with Brittany feeling a little paranoid about Sarah Beth and Christian playing on Brittany's crush on him, he kind of started to sway her tonight because, these two, I don't think I've ever talked about, they have a fake final 2. So Christian's playing up on that. And I think he really tried to change Brittany's mind. Brittany had a talk with Ozzy that for her game, she feels like maybe she needs to get rid of Sarah Beth because she thinks Sarah Beth's coming for her if Sarah Beth stays and wins HOH next week. Ozzy talked Brittany out of this and also made Brittany kind of realize that Christian's just playing the game because Christian's now holding Brittany's hand and being all close to Brittany, really trying to take advantage of Brittany. But I think Ozzy got through to her for now. But it's interesting because Christian and Alyssa want to get the Jokers and Tiffany and Claire in a room together and say, we have the votes. So if you're voting with the house, you need to vote to get out Sarah Beth. Ozzy's not flipping. Ozzy's not going to flip on Derek X. Hannah's not going to flip on Derek X. So it would have to be Claire and Tiffany really wanting to go against Derek X, but I don't think they would do it either. The only thing that can maybe piss the Jokers off enough is to reveal the royal flush, but I don't think stupid ass Christian and Alyssa are going to end up doing that, even though that's the one thing they need to do. And I think Tiffany actually maybe deserves a little credit for this, because there was a moment on Monday where I don't remember exactly what it was, but Tiffany had a conversation with Christian, and I think also Alyssa, which I think convinced the two that they need to keep up good relations with most of the Royal Flush members, which I think is what is making them not expose the Royal Flush to the Jokers. And speaking of Tiffany, she finally realizes just how close Derek X and Ozza are, and that even Claire is close to Ozza. And I think Tiffany's kind of realizing that the problems between her and Ozza are Tiffany's fault. Oh, you don't say. That you're the one that's usually being a total fucking asshole to Ozza. I don't know if Tiffany can salvage anything there at this point, but maybe. And then there's also Tiffany's beef with Sarah Beth. That just gets a little bit too much because she doesn't think Sarah Beth really has a girlfriend. I haven't really got into all that. And Tiffany even questioning Sarah Beth's sexuality, which, I mean, if someone's bi, of course they're also into guys, because that's whatever. I'm not really going to get into that, but all in all, for the week, Sarah Beth still should be saved despite her terrible gameplay, despite her mouth constantly getting her in trouble, despite everybody onto her fake emotions. I mean, there's a little bit of flipping going on with Brittany, but I don't think it's enough to totally flip the Jokers. I'm so annoyed because I'm recording again after I was already done editing and thinking I was going to get to go to bed early, but that miserable CUNT Tiffany just had to start some drama. She's so fucking rude to some people on the house. It's always either just Ozza, DF, Brittany, or Sarah Beth. Those are the people she's rude to. So she storms into the room because she's like, oh my God, why are the Jokers lying? Then me and Claire have to lie to Christian and get blood on our hands is basically her argument, because Brittany's freaking out because Christian keeps pounding away at Brittany today, like I stated somewhat earlier. And my rant against Tiffany's probably going to get harsh, but at this point, I don't really give a fuck. You know, I've been shitting all over her messy game for a while now, holding back my total disdain for her as a person, but it's about to go down. You know, there's some things I held back because I don't feel like it's my place to talk about it, but in the end, I really don't care because it's the fucking truth. Tiffany is a colorist old hag. Tiffany went on earlier in the season about how, oh my God, the reality shows are always casting dark skinned women. Oh my God, she said this at least 2 or 3 times. And it's like, bitch, what fucking shows have you been watching? Big Brother, maybe the ones that have succeeded most on Big Brother have been dark skinned women. Honestly, the same could maybe be said for Survivor, but most reality shows do not do this. And her problem with Ozza is so weird and personal for literally no fucking reason. She acts like it's because they don't game the same way. I don't know what projecting Tiffany is doing, but it's fucking disgusting. So she gets upset with Derek F and Brittany, but of course is biting towards Ozza, who's never actually did anything to Tiffany on a personal level. Tiffany is the one that has always brought this shit on a personal level. I mean, she could throw her fucking jury votes out the window right now because she ain't getting Derek F and Ozza's jury vote against anybody else in the cookout, especially. But I ain't convinced that she's gonna get them against some possible others either. So yeah, the fight goes down. It's kind of a fight. It's not really, it's just Tiffany trying to scold them like it's their children. It's really just Tiffany always trying to be in control of shit and Derek Fraser calling that shit out. Tiffany is problematic. She's talking about fucking Sarah Beth's sexuality. And yes, Claire went along with it. Claire's just as fucking guilty. So those two can fuck up right off. And there has to be a reason that she is this disdain for Ozza for no reason. She can literally talk to anybody in the house except, I mean, Sarah Beth's the exception, but Ozza's the other exception. But the beef between Ozza and Tiffany is on a personal level is so one-sided, and I'm glad Ozza's finally seeing. I mean, she's been seeing that there's tension between them, but I think she's finally seeing. And I wish Brittany and Derek F would listen to Ozza, because Ozza wants to have Derek F and Brittany now vote to keep Christian so that it is up to Claire and Tiffany to decide the vote and have the blood on their hands. Ozza is the only other one other than Kylan clocking Tiffany's game, and that her information doesn't add up all the time because she's meshy as fuck doing too much. And Kylan and Oz are now getting closer, which doesn't bode that well for Tiffany. And Tiffany's closest allies, Claire and Derek X, like Ozza. So I don't know what Tiffany's doing, why she can't hold her anger for Ozza and Derek F. It, I don't get it. I really don't get it. Outside of the fact that she is just hateful and rude to certain people in this house, and she is problematic. If this was any other season, some of the shit she says would be called out as problematic. So everybody with their heads up Tiffany's asses, I don't really care. You could try to defend her all you want constantly, but she's hateful and she's rude and she's problematic. You don't talk about people's sexuality if you're not problematic. Okay? And I get that she's old and maybe fucking out of touch, but I don't really care to hear the excuses anymore. I'm done with them.